Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to remove a front upper rusted control arm on this 2003 Mercury Mountaineer. And the tools that you'll need for a regular upper control arm removal is a 10, 18, 19, 21, and 22 millimeter socket and ratchet, and a piece of pipe for some extra leverage, a hammer, jack and jack stands, a torque wrench, and a pry bar. But for a rusted upper control arm, you may need a couple additional tools such as a torch, but we'll explain that in this video.
2002 to 2005, this is a Mercury Mountaineer Ford Explorer, something to be on the lookout for. That is not how your control arm should look. Big rust hole there. So we're going to show you really quick. We've already got the wheel off, obviously, how to replace the rusty control arm.
Spray this nut with some penetrating fluid and do the same thing to the two on the bottom of your upper control arm.
18 millimeter socket and ratchet. Use a pipe for some extra leverage. Whenever you use a pipe, just do it slowly and carefully.
Now, here's what should happen with a regular upper control arm that isn't rusted out. Is you just remove that nut, same as you did on the other one. And then you just take the nut off, put it back on just a few threads, and then hammer the wheel knuckle. And eventually it'll drop down. And then you just remove that nut, and then you would go about removing the other two nuts.
So when we were trying to loosen the nut, what you're always hoping will happen is that the ball joint will stay basically seized into the steering knuckle. But if you watch the stud here, the ball joint is now turning. So your next option is to try to use an 18 millimeter wrench and a 9 millimeter wrench, or an 8 millimeter wrench, and hold that stud, but that's nearly impossible.
So if you get to the point where the ball joint stud is spinning inside the steering knuckle, and you are not familiar with how to use a cutting torch, then it's probably time to take it to a professional. And you can drive it a short distance in the way it is, or if you want, try to tighten up that ball joint nut again. But you can see here, first I'm going to try to just heat up the nut, try to melt the nylon out of it, and see if I can get it to spin. That's unsuccessful, so the last option after that is just to cut the ball joint stud right off with the torch, and that's what I end up doing.
Now just unclip this harness and pull it back. Reach up here and disconnect this harness. Just push on the tab and pull it free.
This is the ABS sensor harness, and you may have to access it from underneath the hood.
Remove this 10 millimeter bolt. And we'll fast forward as Mike does that. Now remove those two nuts right here, and we'll fast forward as Mike does that. And to speed up the process, you can see that we've decided to use some air-powered tools.
So these washers, after you get up in there, they actually have little holes that they hook into. I just made sure I kept the front one here in the front and the back one in the back. It's easiest to feed up in place and then turn the mounting bar.
So now I'm just starting the nut on, and to get the washer on before the nut, you might need to lift the control arm up out of the stud up out of the hole a little bit, put the washer on, and then the nut.
Push your wheel knuckle back and push that stud on the ball joint down through the wheel knuckle. And then just replace that nut. And then just tighten up those 3 nuts on the upper control arm. Now tighten up the 2 back nuts to 110 foot-pounds, and then the one on the ball joint tighten to 90 foot-pounds. Reconnect your harness.
Okay, so we've got the vehicle lowered down, and the suspension is on the jack so that the suspension is in kind of its ride position. And we're going to tighten this back nut to 100 foot-pounds. Okay, the front side, we can't get a torque wrench on it just because of where it is, so we're just tightening it up as much as we can with a good size wrench.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.